strenuous, dedicated training before you're worthy to step inside a professional wrestling ring. But it takes even more time to develop complex, highly astute opinions about professional wrestling. Am I right?
That is correct. You know where we can find that?
Yes.
In the Wrestling Ham.
That's right.
Sidekick Media Services. We are your sidekick in business for social media, video production, and more. Find out more at sidekickmediaservices.com.
Hello, friends. I'm your pal in the mainstream media.
And I'm the Riz.
And you know, Riz, it takes years of strenuous, dedicated training before you're worthy to step inside a professional wrestling ring. But it takes even more time to develop complex, highly astute opinions about professional wrestling. Am I right?
That is correct. You know where we can find that?
Yes.
In the Wrestling Ham.
That's right.
Sidekick Media Services. We are your sidekick in business for social media, video production, and more. Find out more at sidekickmediaservices.com.
Hello, friends. I'm your pal in the mainstream media.
And I'm the Riz.
And you know, Riz, it takes years of strenuous, dedicated training before you're worthy to step inside a professional wrestling ring. But it takes even more time to develop complex, highly astute opinions about professional wrestling. Am I right?
That is correct. You know where we can find that?
Yes.
In the Wrestling Ham.
That's right.
show is a member of the Sorgatron Media Podcast Network. Find out more at sorgatronmedia.com. This show is brought to you by Slice on Broadway, supporting Pittsburgh podcasting with the perfect pepperoni pizza. Production services by Sidekick Media Services. And listeners like you, supporting us at patreon.com/awesomecast. It's time to get geeky, get awesome. It is the AwesomeCast. I'm Mike Sorga at Sorgatron on the Twitter, and the Sorgatron Media Studios back in town after a little bit of a work and fun trip. We were not here last Tuesday because we had to go to Star Wars night at Disneyland. I almost said Star Wars Land at Disney night.
We're doing well.
Yeah. But anyways, we're going to have a lot of fun here tonight. First of all, back in studio, as if she's not already sick of me from all the traveling we're doing, and we're in the middle of that right now. The Dutters is with us.
Hi.
Katie, social media, Maven, and all the things. I can never narrow down because you do like so many things.
I don't even know what I'm doing half the time.
Photographer, event photographer, and
email marketing,
cosplayer, and
cosplayer,
wielder of lightsaber. We'll get into in a little bit here. Yes. Also back with us from the iPhoneography podcast, Dave Potter's with us.
Glad to be on.
Yes. Before the show, I was fun. We were. You guys are both part of the Pittsburgh Marathon here in the 2 weekends, and so it was. So everybody support these guys. Do you guys have links for like the support the charities?
I'll give you the links so you can donate.
Yeah. Let's
say Dutters does. I'm just running it to run.
You're just like I'm just a running fool over here.
Yeah.
You're just like
first weekend in May. Therefore, it's time to run around Pittsburgh.
It's time for nature. It's time for running around the hills of Pittsburgh. Why not? Hopefully, may they be dry and not flooded. As every time I leave town, the downtown floods. This has been pretty scary, actually. So anyways, let's get into our awesome things. You know what, Katie, let's start with your awesome things. I think is going to lead into a bit of conversation here. What you got?
Oh, I got a bag. It's a bag.
What's in the very long?
This is so awkward.
It is. I gotta give you a wider angle.
Seriously, what am I gonna do?
Oh,
here?
what is that?
Let me just put it.
It is
behind me.
let's see, by the microphone, hit the button for the audio out there. Where I think it's on this side. Is it? Oh no, it's on that side.
Here's the sound.
Oh, the speaker's on the bottom.
This is my new friend. It's a purple lightsaber. But yeah, I like trying to get into the frame. This is not working. But yeah, that's. So yes, that's my new purple lightsaber.
And for comparison, I did grab. Well, it was already in the studio because I was trying to figure out how to travel it for this event. Here's my 10-year-old lightsaber. There you go. I'm a blue. But I figured it'd be good for comparison because this is like a nice. I think this you gifted to me this like 10 years ago. I have no idea where this is, what version of this is, or anything. It's just the cool one. It's the cool one that everybody uses now, right? Yeah, that makes the noises and has the cool glow up and everything like that. Like I love it. But yours is the special Disneyland Galaxy's Edge one. So
like I'll tap on it so you can hear the metal.
Real metal. Mine is plastic as hell in comparison there. So again, like other than we'll get into the experience here in a moment, but why go to Disney to take the time and make one of those?
So for me, this was my birthday present from my mom, Mama Dutters. Gave me Disney gift cards so I could build a lightsaber.
And you had like 10. You had like 8 of them. You had to put in. It was great.
I was like, here, this one, do this one. But yeah, this was something that I didn't do. I went to Disney World Galaxy's Edge a couple years ago and did some things, but did not build a lightsaber. And then I knew when we were going to Star Wars night, I wanted a lightsaber. And I am a big fan of purple, not Samuel L. Jackson, but the purple. This purple, if you've ever seen my hockey jersey, my Kicking Cancer's ass belt, it's all that purple. It is my favorite color ever. And so like I would just the plans for this is to be up on the wall with my jersey and my Kicking Cancer's ass belt. So they'll be together on the wall. And but this was something I really wanted to do. I hadn't really explored like how you did this beforehand because I really just wanted to go into it not knowing too much. And but it was an incredible experience, and I scheduled this whenever we decided we were going. So it's been for months ago. And before you go inside, you have to pick which hilt you want, and there are some options like nature and blah, 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 peace and blah, blah, blah. And then there was power and control. And that's the one I went with. That's my, this is power and control. If you can tell, there's red. But then you also get a pin that matches one of the designs on the hilt. And that's how they know which setup to give you when you walk inside. And I was surprised there were so many options as far as like the way to customize it. You know, all these little parts like here were all different things that I could select in the process. And my mom was impressed that I was able to build one because I had to make so many decisions. But like surprisingly, this all came pretty easy. I was like, yes. And but part of the process is you do get to pick a crystal, and that's what determines what your lightsaber color will be. And I knew, like I said, going into this, it was going to be purple, lavender, or lilac, whatever you want to call that color. And you see me picking out parts, going, oh no, I got to pick out parts and make decisions. And my crystal that I picked specifically would not settle into the handle. It would, the nice person who was helping me could not get it to settle in the handle. So it became my chaos crystal. So inside here is my chaos crystal. If I decide that I want to, want to be a Jedi and get a green, I can get a green crystal, or I can get a red crystal. And I think blue is the other color. So I can customize it to whatever I'm doing.
Here's you struggling with the crystal.
I know. Watch me struggle with a crystal. Go, gosh, what's wrong with me?
And the attendant also had problems with it. So it wasn't just you.
And it's so wild because it's a whole thing where they go like fighting. Please just go in here. I look like I don't know what I'm doing. Don't you want to be my friend, Crystal? And there's a whole process. Like you hear Yoda's voice. You hear like how important it is to be a Jedi.
Very cool. It's a whole presentation.
It was so neat. And then at the end, we all fire it up, and we're all standing in the room together, and we fire it up for the first time together. And it was like, oh, this is so cool. And I needed it for the rest of the night's festivities. Oh, look at me!
Just when you first lit it up there.
I was like, whoa. This big smile.
There's one where your tongue sticks
I said,
out.
I realized you were taking pictures of me, and I was like, eh.
This is actually from a video. I think I was taking stills from the video, but there's a whole video of the sequence going on too, I think. So, no, it was a very cool experience. And again, Galaxy, my first time seeing it, the whole Star Wars thing, it was tremendous. I love that. I think I mentioned like there's power lines everywhere. You would never see power lines anywhere else in this park. And then it's just like it's intentionally messy. I thought was really kind of stuck out.
It's very much like a grimy city. Yeah, like you're on the edge. You definitely are Galaxy's Edge. They're literally out there, and it's outposts and yeah, there's me.
Yeah, this is I think we were in Toontown because we had to go up for something for Amanda to pick up something for her magic key, and this is before we broke the Roger Rabbit ride.
I got Amanda and I had costumes so we could be in the parade, because that was my goal, is I needed to be in the parade with my lightsaber. And I went with an Anakin look, and because it made sense to have my lightsaber, and I got, look at me, I'm wielding my lightsaber. We had training, pew pew, and did pretty well with this. Thank you, years of drill team and twirling a flag. It's pretty much a similar experience to twirling a flag and drill team. But yeah, she's a weighty thing, and yeah, it was a solid workout.
So heavy. Because I was the not costumed one, so we said I was the Star Wars dad.
You were dad.
I was dad and taking pictures of everybody and everything. So and yeah, it was pretty weighty. Oh yeah, there's your that's the King Arthur thing.
Oh yeah, when I tried to force pull it out.
Yeah, there you go. There's the force pull, the King Arthur. That was a fun one, and I'm gonna try to find the post. You had to ride the carousel.
Yeah,
with the
I had
lightsaber.
to. That was a requirement. My mom said that had to make up for the fact that it was all just white horses because I usually don't go for the white horses on the carousel since I was a
Yeah,
kid.
it wasn't a lot of variety, but I guess
No.
considering what it was. And then there's the parade.
Look at me in a
I think
parade.
this is probably you. There you go.
Yeah. Oh yeah, where I constantly kept trying to force choke you.
Yes, still. And now she just sends me gifts of force choking me. So I know what's coming whenever you get irritated with me on these trips from now on. You're just going to force choking me in the desert. But no, it was a lot of fun. The rides were great. It was really cool. They brought a lot of like kind of set pieces out. They brought like Boba's thrown out and a lot of the characters were out. We got to see. We both had a wish list of what we wanted to see, and in like the first like 10 minutes of being there,
Oh my gosh.
we ended up fulfilling it because you, of course, wanted to see Boba. I wanted to see Sabine Wren, and literally just like there she was. I didn't think we would be able to see him until like Star Wars night, right? I thought it was a special character. And Sabine Wren's the kind of the Mandalorian character from Rebels and Ahsoka.
I was like, go stand with her. Go.
Yeah, I'm like you just like saw the purple hair pop, and I'm like,
Go.
That's it. I'm going. So had that, and I love like they all talk to you like a little bit. They don't just like take a picture and that's it. Like she looked at my picture, which is like the Vader and Stormtrooper taking a selfie with the Carbonite Han Solo, and it's like, this is an idea what your allegiance is it? I'm like, no, they just look like they're having fun, right? And then of course, Katie had to run into Boba.
I was so excited. I cried. I had tears in my eyes. I was I'm glad I was wearing sunglasses so you
Yes.
didn't see that. And I couldn't even tell you what he said to me because I was just.
It's okay. We have it on video.
Thank you. I was just agreeing with whatever he said.
It was so much fun. I did see a Mandalorian later, and I'm taking the video of it. No, that's me petting a car. Let's see. Because like you guys, I think it was when you guys were waiting for your lightsabers, right?
Yeah.
And he popped up out of nowhere, and I'm like, he started moving. He's got Grogu in his pouch, and I was like, oh, I gotta take a picture. I turned around right after this, and I found there was an Ahsoka right in my face, and I realized I thought it was like the character actor like thing, but I'm unsure if it was like an official Disney one or just a fan. But it was really good, whatever it was. So yeah, I almost killed Ahsoka.
It's fine.
It was fun. So Star Wars Night. This is a Disneyland thing. I don't know that they do this in World necessarily. I haven't seen anything about it yet. But it's cool because they do dress up like a lot of it. Space Mountain is a hyperspace mountain.
Yeah.
I love it skinned for that kind of thing. So
not the Matterhorn ride. I'm not sure. I can't remember what it's called. But essentially, it's a big mountain, and then that had the overlay of the sky. And I was like, oh, there's.
I think it was the Matterhorn. Yeah,
Was that,
yeah.
okay,
That's the
you
one
didn't see
where
the Death Star ever saw.
Oh, I never noticed that.
It was like, meow. I only noticed because I was when that was in line because I thought I was in line to see Boba Fett and it was just his throne. The lady, one of the people working there told us about it because
Well,
I was like, I don't want his throne.
And there were projections on because they have the Main Street thing, and there were the projections like Star Wars projections, and there's light side, dark side, so it was different colors on each side of the street and everything. There's a DJ in the middle with giant lights shooting up in the sky that you see from everywhere in the park. So we like. Okay, we need to go that way. Like it was a nice, like, okay, castle's that way. That's the middle, to figure things out. So it was very, very cool. Highly recommended if you have the opportunity to do a Star Wars night out there at Disneyland. And the other one was they shut they kick everybody out at 8:00, and you have the park like we did like Small World and stuff, and there was like a 5-minute wait on on things that normally are. I was like, man, we should have just waited on a bunch of these, right?
Yeah.
So,
oh yeah.
And also just seeing everybody with their lightsabers getting into the cars, and just everybody's lightsabers sticking up out of the cars as they're going by. Because none of the rides are big enough that you can't just carry your lightsaber on it. So, but no, it's a blast. I'm loving. I love that we got to experience the two castle parks here in the last month. I got so much more to say Disneyland, but that'll be an entire show. I don't want to get into that. Maybe we'll do more on Patreon. But but generally, just to put a pin on it, Katie, you have been to Disney World, the several parks, several times. Not several, but a few times. And this is your first time here, and we also did spend a couple hours over in California Adventure. Went to the Cars Land, had to go to the Big Hero 6 Land, it's all Avengers, and did the Spider-Man ride. How do you compare like kind of the East Coast, West Coast as far as the parks go?
So like it was funny because like one of the things that what does that look like in their camera? I was like, what is this gonna look like? So yeah, we were talking about like the size difference is definitely a big thing. It's wild that we were able to walk across almost a pavilion, like just an area. Plaza, yeah, that's the word I want. Between California Adventure and Disneyland, as opposed to like when you're in Disney World, it's at least a ride, a monorail ride or more or gondola ride, and I will never say that word right again in my life, or at least one time ever again in my life. But yeah, so that was pretty neat. Different castles was cool. I mean, it's not, you mentioned this, that it wasn't as grandiose at Disneyland, but like it was everything that like a lot of the rides that we couldn't hit in Disney World because the lines were super long were not nearly as bad. Like we would never have ridden the Peter Pan ride. We rode the train. Which one was the train? I can't remember what it's called.
I can't remember. Big Thunder Mountain, or
yeah,
think it was?
Thunder Mountain.
Yeah. But we also did Genie Pass for that too. So and that was a big thing. Like we did, like Genie Pass is only $30, so you have to pay for the Lightning Lanes extra, like $20 or $30 for each for like Rise of Resistance and Cars. God, it's worth it. It just so you're not wasting like an hour and a half of your day sitting in line in the hot California sun for one thing like that. I think it's a nice I'm kind of a lightning lane or bust person now.
You get spoiled.
Like we're looking at that for some other parks coming up, but it's just like I think we're just gonna do this from now on. So, but again, you just kind of factor into kind of the cost of the park, and it's really not that bad.
I think we lucked out because like Disneyland, in Disney World, you would not have been able to get the lightning lanes for the next ride as quickly as you got them here in Disneyland, because it was like you would have a time, you're like, oh, okay, our lightning lane is up now, we'll get into the next one, and it would be hours later. So you're like, now I'm locked into this to do.
Well, we went and got in line for other things while we're like, our lightning lane's in 15 minutes, this one's 20. Let's do it while we're waiting, right? So it was that strategic Disneying. So
Disney math.
Yes, is it the Disney math, and making it so you don't have to go across the park, for the next thing you want to do.
Yeah.
Is very interesting, and you kind of have to play with it a little bit. So, but also it's not that big, and there's plenty in between. I think that's the thing. There's a lot to experience. Oh man, I got the next thing I want to do. I'm in Frontierland. I want to go over to Tomorrowland to do the next thing. And you walk across the square, and like a parade is happening. Yeah. Right. Like there's.
I've never seen so many characters.
There was way more characters than I remember seeing at World or at Magic Kingdom. Officially, we were at Magic Kingdom when we were there. But yeah, no, they were. God, we saw Chippendale. I didn't see Chippendale at all.
Daisy.
Daisy.
Donald, Mickey, Minnie. We saw the whole Peter Pan crew.
Yeah,
which was wild. And I'm trying to think who else we saw.
And this was all before. This is during the day.
Right?
Yeah,
during the day. Yeah.
Okay.
Because we had Park Hopper during the day, and then basically we had 2 Disney tickets for the day. So Amanda, Magic Key Holder hooked us up with a lot of stuff there during the day too. So is the frequenter, So it's good to know somebody that lives in the area that it frequents so much. But yeah, it was a lot of fun, worthwhile. And a must for all the Disney fans. So I would ride every Star Wars ride, just absolutely. So I'd do Spacebound first though, because you can tell all the graphics and everything are from a while ago. So and then you're doing the newer one. Like we started with Rise of Resistance, which was the most cutting edge thing that you could do there, and but freaking worth it. Loved it. It was fantastic. So I'm going to go to my awesome thing of the week here. That's a lot lower key and a little.
The rest of the show, I'm just going to be like. Meh.
I don't even know how much people can hear that. Because it's in
Ponder, can you hear that?
No, I can't. I think the I think Zoom is.
I don't think it's close enough to the mic. These mics are really good. If they can't hear the train, they're
The
not
rest
going
of
to
the
hear
day,
your
I'm just gonna be like-
lightsaber. When it started to sound like you were doing it with your mouth. Anyways, God, what am I doing now? So a really cool thing happened a couple weeks ago. Thank you, everybody. Thank you to the European Union. Our international nightmare is over because now, finally, I can play. Oh, this isn't going the way that I wanted to go because I wanted to show the screen. But finally, I'm mirroring this thing, so it actually took over the entire thing. But I can play Super Mario Land from Game Boy on my phone. On my iPhone. They've opened it up. The Delta GBA player, which has an emulator for Game Boy, Nintendo, Super Nintendo, and 64, all on here. All the Game Boys, by the way, all the way up to Advance. So it is absolutely workable. I'm pretty sure I had this back in the day when I jailbroke the phone. Now I don't have to. So, and it is compatible with controllers, which is good because it's kind of a pain to play on a touchscreen. I have not tested that yet, but it says it's compatible with all the rest of the stuff. So you do get, like, this is obviously a Game Boy game. It's kind of got a Game Boy Advance looking overlay on it. If you go sideways, it will reformat that as well.
Ooh.
So depending on the game, like
Nice.
this one kind of sets in. When you play a Nintendo game, it kind of overlays the buttons a little bit more on top of the screen. I have not seen the Super Nintendo games because, of course, I'm going to show you the games that I absolutely, completely own a cartridge for because that is the legal use of using emulators in any capacity, of course. Wink for audio. But no, this is tremendous. You just throw your ROMs into the iCloud, download them in here, pull them in, and everything works in. Again, all the way up to N64 games are on there. So there's a lot of cool wrestling games on there, again, that I legally own. So I'm going to be playing them on this thing. This is going to be, because the biggest pain in the butt, these guys, we have all these subscriptions, and we have all these games we have access to. You know where that's a problem? When you're on a plane.
Yeah.
And you don't have access to internet to verify that game that you downloaded, right? Or most of them have hooks and save games and cloud access and things like that. So I can't just play the Tetris game that's on Netflix or GTA or something like that. I can't bring up the obvious games. I couldn't play the Super Mario Run game on a plane, for instance. Now we've gone old school, and I can play my Super Mario Land on Game Boy and Super Mario Brothers on my phone on the plane with a controller and not have to worry about the internet access as long as I've had everything already downloaded. So again, it's the Delta. Let me get the official name for this. Actually, I have a link in the show notes so you guys can check that out too. It is Delta MU. DeltaMUPhoneApp.com. Wow, they really had to narrow that down, I guess. But no, there it is. And again, you can play all those games, and it is free in the App Store. So go get it, and it seems like it's completely wide open. There's been some other emulators that have popped up that have been a little sketchy. I would stick with something like this that has been around for a while and has a name and has a history. There are going to be some BS emulators popping up. I guarantee there will be some BS emulators popping up that may not be good, and this is exactly the reason why I think Apple wanted to kind of narrow this down a little, or lock this down, because you're loading something in, and that can become terrible and malicious. But Delta's definitely one of the good ones. We'll try to keep an eye out for other ones that are popping up. Your phone is powerful. I have a feeling there's going to be emulators for a lot of things up to like at least PlayStation 2 at some point, and hopefully this is where the terabyte phone is going to start coming in handy. So even though I'm trying to download shows for the plane off of Disney Plus, and it keeps telling me I'm running out of room, and I was like, no, I have 300 gigabytes left. There's no way I ran out of room. Please download Disney's Wish for me. Okay, thank you. But yeah, no, so definitely go check that out. It's free, and if you have a pack of your legally obtained ROMs out there, emulator, you can absolutely kind of and everything looks great so far. It looks, but I think we've kind of perfected the Game Boy Nintendo era emulators for the most part, right? So, but yeah, Bonner, what do you want to play on your emulator?
You know what? It sounds weird because this should be my era, but I never had a Nintendo or Nintendo device.
Okay.
Yep.
Now's the time. Now you can dive into it.
I was 2600 and Commodore 64.
Oh, hopefully those come up too. I'm sure those come up too. Katie, I think you were a Nintendo kid, right?
Yes.
What are you looking forward to playing on your phone?
I was Commodore 64 into Nintendo.
Okay.
So yeah. I'm a little bit on the edge there. Oh my gosh, as far as games to play on the Game Boy, man, I like classic Tetris. It's fun.
Even just having that is nice.
Yeah, because
really.
it's not.
I was just thinking
different.
like I know there's an app for it, but like I kind of just want to play Tetris, right? Like Game Boy Tetris, even, right? You know how much I have a Game Boy Advance SP at my bedside, and you don't know how much I played just the original Dr. Mario on it. Like the black and white Dr. Mario on it, right?
That was so much fun.
It kind of colors it a little bit, but not really. So it's still like 4 colors or something like that. So yeah, no, that's completely like I will probably end up. I was so mad when they took away Dr. Mario World on the iPhone because I loved that. I played the hell out of that game, right?
Yeah.
So and I was like, that's when I was just like, I'm just gonna pull my old cartridge and start playing this. So yeah, partner, were you saying something?
Yeah, well, just that it's the thing that people want is just good gameplay, and those were simpler games.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You know, they were literally the Candy Crush, or you know, I don't want to spend hours. There are games out there, and there are times you want to spend hours playing a game, tens of hours, tens of hours. You know, but sometimes you want to pick up a game and just play it.
Yeah.
And without going through all this setup and everything else going along with it. And this is what it was, because it was a limitation of the time because they couldn't offer anymore. But we don't want updated versions of these games. You know, if I want Pitfall, let's say from Atari, I want Pitfall from Atari. I don't want an updated 3D. I want that Pitfall. Yeah, it was fun because of the limitations of the device that made you think more.
And that was the beautiful thing. They included Tetris as that pack in. It was one of the most addictive games. So that's what made that was the original casual gaming, right? Was getting Game Boy, having that in your bag, purse, whatever, and you know, being well, I guess we were talking about the early 90s, so definitely fanny pack. So,
you mean those big pockets in your jeans?
Yeah, that's a little later. No, I definitely kept my Game Boy in my fanny pack with oh my god. Oh, you know what, on Patreon I'm going to tell you what I put on my fanny pack and brought to school every day. The answer may surprise you.
What did you put in your fanny every day?
My fanny pack every day for probably an entire school year of probably the 3rd or 4th grade. I'm going to tell you guys on Patreon that one.
And if you're listening from the UK, it's not what you think it is.
What? What was a fanny pack in the UK? Is it what is it?
Well, just the term fanny.
Oh, it's not like a butt pack? Is that what you're saying?
No, it's not a Bradley pack.
No. That joke's for the other show. It's too
Brad
early.
pack.
It's too early.
What Dutters is here?
I know it's confusing. She was like waving her butt in front of the camera before the show.
Yeah, 100%.
So yes.
This show needs more butts.
Always. Anyways, where the hell were we?
Who knows?
What is happening? Potter, you probably have an awesome thing. I don't know. I'm going to go look at the doc right now. What's going on?
Okay. Well, this is an art project. So it's not a product you can buy, something that someone devised, and it combines cameras and artificial intelligence.
Tell me more.
So the idea is the camera takes a picture, but it doesn't output a photo. It uses AI to create poetry of what it takes a picture of. And it prints out.
This is a separate unit. Like, this is not a phone app or anything. This is its
No.
own camera
This
with
is
a
its
printer.
own camera thing. Yep, everything's done on device.
Okay.
So and people wanted to buy it, and they're like, no, this is an art project. We're doing this as an art idea. So the idea is, you can see, like, there's a picture of the ceiling. Actually, next one down.
There you go. There you
And
go.
that's the little poem that the AI put out about it.
So if you, for those on audio, so there's a picture of a clouded ornamental cloudy, clouds painted on a ceiling kind of thing. Maybe you see at the opera or something like that, right? And it says March 11th, 2024, 12:28 p.m. There's a little design here. A ceiling's dance of shadows, gold inlay upon the wood, deceives the eye with the skies of spring, where the stone and timber stood.
Wow.
So it developed that poem based on the picture it took.
Yeah. Which I'm shocked that someone hasn't developed an app for a phone, because you definitely could do it. Or even using shortcuts. You could use the camera, import it into, Copilot, now that they rebranded Bing AI as Copilot or ChatGPT, and spit out a piece of poetry like this.
But it gives you the opportunity to take a selfie with the poem and the item. For instance, this person's shirt, apparently, that could develop the poem. On break of night, the lens feasts on vibrant joy, glistening upon the face blooming mirth, inscribing the tale of a cotton envoy as Tompkins Square finds a new rebirth. It's a Thompson Square Park T-shirt. Okay, there's like 2 more paragraphs of poetry to this too. So that's very interesting. So does this mean so is the camera like Wi-Fi enabled? Is it paired to your phone? Maybe that's like, how's it getting the data that we're connecting it? And this isn't the first. There's like AI tablets and things we saw at CES too.
Yeah, and again, it's like they even said in the article, after the first 100 times people asked, we said we're not selling it, as they said they were doing it only as an art project. But after 101, they're like, should we make it available? But at the same time, it's an art project. Our initial response was leave capitalism out of it.
But also,
that's a wonderful thing if you could do that. But also, if people are willing to pay for stuff,
tell us how you could make this too.
Right. So they agreed. A little further down, it does say they wanted to make it a DIY project, but they were having problems with it. So they're looking to have it developed. So they're trying to make it where it's not mass produced with cheap plastic, that they're trying to be, sustainable and make sure things are done properly. But it's just a different way you can think about using AI.
I like it. This is, oh my God, this is fun. I literally had a internship interview yesterday, and I let my AI excitement come out a little bit, because I talked about how this is the kind of applications that I felt like the kinds of excitement we had when like social media and app things were happening, right, on smartphones at first, and ubiquitous internet, like the things that we got excited about when this show first started in 2010. Oh God, things like that, and that's why I'm loving coming back. And I love, like, it's a physical thing somebody made, but we're not going to sell it to you. I'm like, what? Please sell it to me, and we're
Take
all
my money.
screaming, please sell it to me or give me a DIY.
Okay, so
Cat.
as the cat walks by,
Cat cameo.
It does have a Raspberry Pi in it. So
Okay.
that's
Ooh.
so it is
Tell me
based in a
more.
Raspberry Pi.
Tell me more and give me instructions and a code base for me to download, because I ain't programming
That's
shit.
the thing they haven't done yet. It says the AI model, but it doesn't say it communicates with OpenAI's ChatGPT 4 to generate the poetry, but it doesn't say how it connects up. Whether it actually doesn't say in the article, but honestly, like you said, have this idea. People may want to have this as a physical thing that just prints out little receipts of poetry instead of doing it as an app. But I could see someone doing something like this as an app, the idea of it.
Well, I also got some good news if you want some follow-up on this. If you go to poetry.camera, you can learn more and sign up to their mailing lists. So they are doing limited drops coming soon. You can sign up for access, and you can also put in for a pledge for it as well as part of that. So I at least signed up through the email address so I could real quick kind of see.
Okay,
I want to know more, and they have events going on too.
Yeah, when's here? Anywhere near
No, I don't know where these are at. But, based in New York City.
Yes, city, yeah.
All right, just gotta get to New York City around these times. So they've done a few things, and this is like probably just some of the events they've hit up and everything like that. Public workshop, things like that. Hey, it's New York. They're artsy as hell, right? So very very cool project there. I'm gonna be keeping an eye on that. Thanks, Dave.
Oh, welcome.
All right. Hey, I want to give a shout out. Well, first, Katie, you're our postcard notebook person.
Yes.
I wanted to get your thoughts on this before we move on.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
Yeah.
I think it's so cool.
Bringing back the physical media.
Yeah, I love it. And then you could print it out because there's so many little printers now. You can print out a photo to go with it in your scrapbook. Papa.
Oh yeah, I was about to say it doesn't. But the thing is, this one doesn't save the photo.
Yeah. You just take that with your phone and then use a little.
Right. You could do
which
two
is
at
a
the same
perfect
time.
thing for Instagram. In the long run. Anyways, we'll keep an eye on that. But thank you to everybody that is supporting us on Patreon. Oh my God, our friends at Slice on Broadway, they're like, you've been advertising on the show, and I was like, well, you guys, and they're like, well, you should start a Patreon. I was like, oh, we got one. So I love those guys down there. But anyways, we do have a Patreon, patreon.com/AwesomeCast, where I'll be talking about my fanny pack from when I was a child. Also, I just remembered something that else I wore that I probably got made fun of for. I had a tough childhood, and I think I did it to myself in a lot of cases. Anyways, socially, home life was great. But it was okay. Yeah, it wasn't a tough childhood. There was social issues. Anyways, I don't want people to think, oh God, poor kid.
If you're on this show or the show that's next,
Yeah.
wouldn't we all have social issues?
No, yeah, this is the show for social issues. What was that?
Yeah.
Hello, welcome to the show. It's podcasting, therefore we're all socially awkward.
Welcome to the neurodivergence.
Welcome to I've been thinking about rebranding the
The Neuro
AwesomeCast
Spicy
and
people.
Neuro Spicy.
That's
welcome
my favorite.
To Neuro Spicy Cast show title. Thank you to people that do support this craziness at patreon.com/awesomecast, our neurodivergent friends. At the Coffee Club level, Cynthia Klosky. At the Fan Show level, Michael Fedor, Matt Weller, John DeGore, and Dave Profod, partner, spouse of Ruth Julia Fair at ruthjuliafair.com. There you go. And you guys, again, support the show. You get some extra content where we talk about a little bit things we don't want to get in on the show. Maybe I try to shove the negative stuff into Patreon if we want to complain about things, because I want this to be a positive show for you every week. So we put it far, far, far below the fold. Okay, guys. I got a little show and tell. This is not my awesome thing because I have not used this yet other than the setup today. And literally today, I went outside, I mowed my lawn so my chihuahua doesn't get lost in the grass again. I'm traveling, so I can't really get to it. And I also did something else I needed to do outside, which is play with technology. And let me give me 1 second here. I got something else that probably won't fit in the frame, just like Katie. But mine doesn't make noise. I got this thing. Potter, what is it?
Is it a Well, I saw what you did. Without knowing what it is, I would think it's a photo reflector, like a
Ooh.
Yeah,
like a reflector.
Pricey. It's more pricey. I can
Oh,
tell
I'm
you
sure.
that.
I'm sure.
Listen, this is a Starlink. This is a Starlink antenna here. This is a satellite dish. That I want to fit in a box. The box comes tomorrow because we figured out today it doesn't fit in any of the suitcases I have. So we have to fix this and safely travel this through TSA and everything, right?
Oh gosh, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. Could you imagine if I put this thing up on the through the machine? Hi,
That would be
I'm
you would
sure
get.
you can't see through this in an X-ray machine. I'm pretty sure. So I set it up a little bit in my backyard. Hey, here's the thing. My backyard has a lot of obstructions because I live in the city. Now I live on the edge, but some trees have grown, and the direction I needed was actually towards the house. So it was. I did the best I can. It did say I did get about 200 down and probably about 20 up, which is.
Well, when you're saying 220. What are the units in that 220?
Oh, I mean, whatever we usually do. I don't know.
Okay. So it isn't 200 baud down and 20 baud up.
No, it's not like my dad's HughesNet where I couldn't even FaceTime him. Okay, it's not. Although I don't know. I haven't seen the latency to do anything direct, but I'm pretty sure it's pretty terrible. I don't think I want to do a Zoom call on this thing for a podcast, for instance. But we are looking to stream video out, therefore, and we are going to be doing an event in the high desert in Gorman, California, and we remember there is a lot of I understand there was a very, very long antenna that had to go up over the mountains for us to get cell signal for the operations crew when I was there in 2019. So homie don't play no more after my experience in Arizona in the desert, and which we got the stream to work. It was chunky, but it worked. Then we went to the middle of Ohio and it didn't work at all. And I said, no more. No more. We know this one's a problem. We're taking to the desert, and this is going to be packed with me for every event that I do in case we find ourselves in a place with no cell signal. Or another thing, there's an event that we are optioning for, that's not the word, estimating for, putting in for, whatever, coming up that's supposed to have a lot of people at it. And I remember when everybody had a live view for the rocket launch. And I also remember I also remember trying to use my phone during WrestleMania in Philadelphia's Lincoln Financial Field with 70,000 people. Okay, so if I'm doing a large event with a concentrated amount of people, I want to back up to my cell signal, and this is it. Okay. Aside from that, if you're curious what else happens, this is apparently the power supply. Okay. Got a nice brick there. Okay.
Okay.
And the next thing is all the plugs kind of.
Let's see. That is a mass. Is that a plug on the end? Yeah. Okay.
But I love it kind of sinks in there so you don't get dirt and stuff in it, which is great since we'll be in the freaking desert. And this is like kind of the portable unit. This is the thing that I take with me, go set up. And we've used one before. There's somebody used last time we were in Van Nuys 2 years ago when they had sun. There was no sun this time. There was rain, and everybody's like, "What is this?" I thought this was California. California is weird right now, guys. It's not where you go for sun. My pool is outside, and I don't think I'm going to be able to use it this week. But anyways, and then you have a Wi-Fi thing over here, boink, and you got a Wi-Fi thing. So basically, you have a specialized Ethernet with that little pluggy piece on it. I think you could use a regular Ethernet, but you want the pluggy piece to protect things. So you're going to have to spend $150 for their cord if you want a longer one. But yeah, Ethernet from the dish goes into this. Power goes into this, goes into that brick, goes into wherever. And Bob's your uncle, you got internet. There you go. The app is very cool. So and again, I had some friends that actually the operations team from SAE, DES actually, not SAE, one of their contractors, kind of walked me through this verbally when I was talking about how I was going to grab one of these. Is very good about. I didn't grab the one where you take your camera and it'll look for obstructions and you have a 3D model of what that is. But this is the video. Here's a video of what it would do here. Where it was kind of like it kind of rotates, and as it's going, what it's doing is it's finding obstructions. If you see there to the east there, and you see these lines, those are probably tree branches from the trees at the bottom of my yard. And
so it has so it has some kind of radar, or is it using the phone?
As the satellites are moving, it's discovering obstructions.
Oh, okay.
So if I left this up long enough, there's going to be a giant one in the west. Like there's going to be a giant blackout in the west because it's going to discover that my house is there, right? The way it's set up.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was very interesting. What the hell did I just?
Styles.
Why did we load into that? So we have that. And then it was, oh no, now it's not going to the rest of it. We have that, and then it actually was really good about, like, it would give a picture of it and say, hey, your panel is this way. You want to move it this way. You know that thing, you ever do a direct deposit where you need to position, or you're taking that thing where it reads your credit card and you have to, like, position it in the right place in the square? It does that. There's an animated version of it, and as you physically move it, that changes on your app.
Oh, wow.
Was very cool and interesting. There's actually a picture of it over on the Facebook group. So far so good. And of course I'm not leaving this on site, so I'm looking to set it up here when we get out there, probably all 3 of the days. I was actually going to leave it up for helping out with media in general, because I think that would be helpful for, at least I know. Then we're not taxing what's happening with operations, because they're going to have limited bandwidth and they have a lot of things they need to do. So I was going to actually kind of pair with my media people, from SAE, so they can do their Facebook posts, we can share whatever, and do that sort of thing, and really kind of field test this thing, right? So I'm excited about this. I'm excited I'm going to go to the desert and still potentially have connectivity here. At least through most of the time. I mean, obviously this isn't going to cover the entire track or anything like that, but it will cover what we need to do for the award ceremony stream that we do, as well as, be some support, like, okay, hey, I need to send this if we walk over here within, like, I don't know what the range on this is, maybe like, 150 feet maybe? I don't know Wi-Fi specs these days. But anyways, like, we know, hey, we walk to the side of the facility, we'll be able to, send pictures for posting or do whatever we need, right? Answer emails, whatever the case may be. So I think that's going to be really helpful, and it's amazing that, and it was, it's pricey, but it's not terrible for, like, it is, this unit was about, I think it's the cheapest unit they have. You can get higher end ones, you can get more proficiency ones, you can get ones to put on, like, moving vehicles if you need it, like if you want to put it on your camper and have internet on the go. There's specialized ones you can do for that. The unit itself is about $600, and the internet is about $150 a month. So, and I was
which isn't terrible, because that's what we're paying for.
It's what we're paying for our phones at home, right? So, and the nice thing is you can turn it on and off. So if I just need it for an event for a month, I pay for it for a month.
Oh, okay, that's nice.
Build a client.
That's a nice thing. You don't have to sign up for. You don't have to sign up for like a year. That's a nice touch.
Yeah.
That's a very nice
as long
touch.
as you pick the roam thing, you have to make sure you do pick, like, okay, I'm doing a residential, I'm doing a roam, or I'm doing, like, I need global or I need mobile, right? And there are things where you can get priority data if you need to. The level of data that we're using, I don't think we're going to need it. But obviously, if we were doing a bigger event that needs more, it's like this with production. If they spent more money on you to be there, and the project is that has a bigger budget, there needs to be more of a fallback and reliability issue that there are no problems whatsoever. So you're going to pay for the extra stuff. And you're probably going to have 2 or 3 of these, to be quite honest.
Right.
One note that I was given, one warning I was given, and actually, thankfully, there's going to be another one on site, so we're going to try to circumvent this with what we're trying to do. You have to be careful, because the thing will drop. I think they said once every hour. There'll just be a gap, and it'll drop for a moment. Like a minute, maybe. Look, a period of time, either way. A non-insignificant period of time that will interrupt whatever's going on. Terrible for a live stream that's probably going to last over an hour, right? So thankfully, we do have our live view, so we're going to be pairing, hopefully, 2 Starlinks to this. I understand cell service may be a little better. I still don't trust it. So hopefully there will be some fallback cellular between our 3 service providers that we're using as well. I'll report back next week and let you know how it went. But yeah, so this is my Sorg's day out with a Starlink this weekend. So,
well, I can also see if you're someone doing research out in the wilderness where you're far away from cell signals, but you still need connectivity.
Or you're camping.
This would be great.
Or camping.
Yeah.
So
now, you mentioned mobile? Do they have a version that you could put on a backpack, or where's a backpack?
I think it's the closest thing. No, I don't.
Okay.
I don't think they're like. There's the moving.
It's not
one.
really designed.
I think the moving one is a little bigger, that it has to go on something. Nothing seemed to be that mobile, right?
Okay.
So worth investigating, but I don't think they have it right now. But I could see it coming in the next couple of years potentially. So, but again, like, the problem if you were in a backpack, what are you going to be doing in a backpack? You're probably going through the woods, right? You need an unobstructed view of the sky. If you're driving a car, you're on the open road. There's less chance, right?
Yeah.
So I think that all comes into play. So I think there's more problems that need to get solved before you can get that backpack version of this. So, but yeah, very exciting for that. Let's see what else is going on. Katie, let's have you pick the next story out of what's in here.
Oh man, I gotta fight last the thingy. Sorry. I knew which one I wanted. Please hold. Let's talk about because the only reason I'm pulling this one up, the OpenAI makes ChatGPT more direct, less verbose, is because I have noticed this difference myself when I've pulled up ChatGPT. I've been putting it to work, and I don't know if you put this in or Podner put it. Oh no, I want to go do Podner's story next. Sorry, I've already chose that one next. The Potties for the Marathons next.
Okay, we'll get that after this.
Okay,
that's a nice show closer.
The OpenAI makes ChatGPT more direct, less verbose. I have noticed this. It's not these grandiose sentences anymore, but they're also it's not. It doesn't feel as accurate. Like I've been thumbs downing more things that it's put together as a sentence, and I was like, oh no, you almost had it. Not quite that. Yeah. So it's gone from like overly explaining things to being almost too brief with things.
So it's like it picks a direction and maybe it wasn't the right direction.
Yeah.
Maybe? Okay.
And it was like that's a bold choice, Cotton. And then, look at you! You look
I
so
just
nice.
broke my headphones.
Partner, I'm only gonna talk to you from now.
Oh, that's a shame. But no, you know what though? They're just tweaking with the ChatGPT right now. You know, it's a year and a half old, really, in terms of being on the main market, and they're just trying to figure out. I think right now they're really trying to figure out how can we make money off of this.
Oh well, it isn't everybody.
And then also because now it's even goofier.
That's why. Yeah, well, I would say that's why there was that mutiny, if you will, under OpenAI, because there were a lot of people like, yeah, we're here to make things better, and we don't like the way this is going, and a lot of people are like, no, we want to make money. So that's why that whole, the founder getting kicked out, coming back, and weirdness happening there. So, because he even mentions here that, where was that? I'm trying to see here. Yeah. The Intercept revealed Microsoft pitched OpenAI DALL-E's text-to-image model as a battlefield tool for the U.S. military.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I'm back and I have a new set of headphones. Oh God, it sounds so completely different too. I don't know if these are good ones. Anyways, I've noticed that like the pod. Sometimes I just get like. I still get the thing where it's like, oh, I'm just going to give you a paragraph this time for a podcast description from the transcript, and this time I'm going to give you all the description. It's like, wait a minute, I literally just did 2 episodes back to back. Why is this one so different? Okay, first paragraph covers everything. Moving on, So, anyways, but hey, it's going to be like, I was mentioning that call yesterday. I was like, listen, man. Everything, if you sign on in like 3 months from now, everything I've set up will be absolutely different, and you need to be ready for movement. And that's where we're at. So what was the other thing? The potties. Definitely the potties.
Yes, yeah, the potties.
Porta potties. The porta potties.
All right, Potter, walk us through this. You are the
okay. So this was about the Boston Marathon.
Okay.
Which is, truly mammoth. It happens on Patriots Day in Boston. It basically the entire city takes off. There's 30,000 marathon runners. So, and you basically you have to run other marathons to prove that you're good enough to go into the lottery to get into Boston. But it's that popular. So, but when you're trying to organize, you have to figure out how much this you need, how much that you need. So they have to figure out how many the 30,000 runners, along with the support personnel, along with everything else, how many porta potties do you need? And where do you put them? Because Boston's marathon it starts literally 20 plus miles out of town. And it goes straight line into town. where Pittsburgh starts downtown, you kind of circle around, you end up back downtown. So they have to put it in. It'd be closer to if the Pittsburgh Marathon started in Cranberry, for those familiar with Pittsburgh, and came straight into town.
Jeez. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So Pittsburgh's really compact because it stays inside city limits.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to think about, well, how many porta potties per person, and then you just can't say, well, we need. They even say there's so much per person you normally use, but then you say, okay, you got to do standard ratio is 1 potty per 100 people.
Mm-hmm.
But then you're like, well, where do you put those? And you have to put them on the route, and you have to put them so many. You have to put them here. They said there's around 1,400 porta potties they put out.
Wow.
4,200 rolls of toilet paper.
Yeah, 730 at the start line. So, and they need additional ones, and 115 at the finish line.
Mm-hmm.
And then they have to space them out in between.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just the things that you don't think about when events are happening that you have to take into account.
Yep.
Because, like, Pittsburgh Marathon's not horrible with the porta potties, but it's a lot smaller.
Mm-hmm.
Because the people doing the full marathon, there's only around 5,000. Running the half, there's normally 10 to 13,000, and there's like a few hundred, maybe 1,000 relay teams. So you have maybe 15 to 16,000 at the start line downtown Pittsburgh, and then it really spreads out. So you don't have this huge hunk.
Yeah.
Great Race is almost as bad, because that all starts up at Frick Park, goes straight in downtown, and the 10K, you got 8,000 people at the start line. That is not in an area that normally holds 8,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
So if you know Pittsburgh, you know Frick Park, you know the environmental center out there, that's where the start line is. And it's great because you see people's who people are home, cat.
Yeah.
They just on the Sunday morning kind of go out on their porch and just wave at everyone who's getting ready to start the race.
Mm-hmm.
But they're still out there 30 porta potties, let's say. I don't know the exact number. And there's still lines which are massively long. We're talking 20, 30 people deep all the way across.
Oof.
So it's one of those things you think about that, okay, we're going to have this event, and then not to mention food, drink, everything else. It's like, okay, how many bananas do we need? How many bagels do we need? How many cookies do we need at the finish line? How much water along the course and in the course? It's just the whole process of the organization and the math behind it that
Cats.
not a lot of... I know. The weather's nice, so I opened up the window, and she's she's being very impatient.
Remind me to do a supercut of the cat cameos during this for this show. And if you would like the intern and do cat cameo videos, please hit us up at AwesomeCast@sorgatronmedia.com.
We might as well put something on TikTok before it gets shut down.
Yeah,
Aw,
exactly.
so
Oh,
bummed.
man. Wow. Yes. Man, thank you. Katie, is that all the potty info you wanted?
I learned a lot today.
Yes. Like, what take of the Boston Marathon just to see the scores of potties?
Oh my gosh, I can't even imagine. I'm always impressed with our scores of potties. I can't imagine that. Field.
Yeah, yeah, or even what they get away with at the events we do, right? So, but anyways, it's always exciting. It's like, oh, but there's one actual facility over here. It's like, oh,
Yeah. Ooh.
supplemental. Ooh, I don't care. I gotta walk all the way over there. Anyways. Awesome. Well, guys, it's so great to be back in the studio. Again, we are going to, I don't know who is going to be available for it, obviously, but we're going to try to do the show next Wednesday because we'll be traveling back because we're going to spend an extra day out in California with the event. So stay tuned for that. In the meantime, you can follow, she's doing a lot of sharing these days. Definitely a lot of sharing over at K Dutters on the Twitter, of course. and she's there. Okay. But she's got a website. She's all around town and all over the country doing things, and I think sounds like she's going to be doing something very special for May the 4th. From what we're talking about, that I can't wait. I can't wait to see how that goes.
I love it.
And your website is
katiedudas.com.
There you go. Go check
Not
it out
.ass
for all the linky links for the doodass.
No sneaky links.
Yes. What?
No sneaky links.
No sneaky links, just the linky links. And also, iPhoneography podcast. Dave Podner, also a often contributor to the Wrestling Mayhem show, and over on those chats and Facebook groups and everything as well.
Oh yeah, always glad. It's and I hate the term safe space is so derided, but it is nice to have somewhere where you can just say something, and even if someone disagrees with it, it's going to be a positive disagreement.
Are you talking about the wrestling community?
Wrestling, yeah, and an AwesomeCast.
Okay.
But, you
yeah,
don't get, but you don't get as
Are
much.
we talking about the wrestling community?
But we're talking about our wrestling community.
Yes.
Yes. Ours, yes.
If I post something that, without being too much of a smart aleck that I could be sometimes, and then someone disagrees with it, there's not the hatred, anger, vitriol that you see out there from a lot of people.
Yeah, that's why we don't post a lot on. I like just sharing positive things on Twitter for these groups and things like that. And of course, wrestling is. I feel that wrestling is. It feels like the last viable thing on Twitter right now. But I'm loving the energy that is happening, at least in my feed that's going on. But it's very interesting. Maybe we'll talk about that more as well after we talk about my fanny pack. Thank you, everybody. At Sorgatron, again, we will be in Southern California. Northern. It's north of where we've been, but it's still Southern California. I'm not good at geography. We're gonna be around California.
In California.
We'll be in
West
California.
Coast time.
West Coast
More
time.
math. More time math.
That's okay. Or the rest of the gigs are all East Coast times for the rest of the season, apparently. So, wow, yeah, all of them are. It's all Michigan, PA, and Florida. So, anyways, I don't think I have no plans to go outside of the time zone for the rest of the year right now, and that's real weird for me at the moment. So, thank you, everybody. You have been our awesome audience. Have an awesome week. This show is a member of the Sorgatron Media Podcast Network. Find out more at Sorgatron.